Today we are going to use absolutely free tools to make a multicolored keychain, so let's get cracking. So real quickly, this starts out on my Patreon. I have got chats that free users can use, and under the design wish list, Amy said, hey, how can we make something like this? Now I do want to quickly let you know that you have to click on the post to read all of the cool interactions about the post, but you can slide down and see all of the information that's been shared so far, including things that I said probably wouldn't have worked. So we're going to start at Google Gemini. You can pick whatever AI you want, and I'm just telling it I need a clip art version of a cat's face. I want it to be cute, black and white, and easy to trace. Once you press enter, you just have to wait a second for the system to build it, and bang, we have got a cat's face we can work with. Now, you got to practice these words and get them right. This took me a few tries to find the right ones, but I love this result, so I'm simply going to download it full size. You can see I did this another time, so you can get all sorts of varieties. I'm going to just keep the goofy name, and I'm going to save it right there. All right, so now I have bounced to the website picsvg. This is where we can choose to upload a picture. Of course, mine is in my downloads folder. I'm going to stay with the new one versus the one I made the other day. You have got a ton of options these days, but I'm going to just move right down to the one that says detail. I think this is going to turn out fantastic, so I'm just going to hit download SVG. I'm going to stay with the funky name and hit save. At this point, you can visit Tinkercad.com. It is 100% free. You can simply sign in with Google. Today, we're going to simply hit Create New 3D Design. I like to start by naming projects. We're going to call this one Cute Cat. And I will remind you, if this is your first time using Tinkercad, I do have awesome Day 1 tutorials. You can find those right here. Today, we're going to be a little bit more advanced, though, and hit Import, choose a file, and grab that design. You do need to switch it to art and then pick the size you want to make it. I'm going to choose 65 for mine. Notice I did the larger one, so the other one stayed under that measurement, and then I simply hit import. You'll see down here that it is importing, and then bang, there is our fun project. Now notice it does have an artifact. There are a lot of ways that we could just cut this off in Tinkercad, but I'm going to actually go back and fix it in picsvg. Check this out. We can click right here and clean the SVG. This is the tiny dot it is spotting. So if I just hit the eraser, I just want to erase that little piece. I'm going to keep zooming in until I can find that silly little dot and erase it. Now as I slide the slider back, I don't see any other glitches, so I'm going to simply download this SVG as well. I've got the modified name, and let's bounce to Tinkercad again, and let's import that one more time. Delete, import, choose a file. There's my modified art. Still want the 60 or 65, I said, and press enter. And this time when we import it, we have got a better SVG to work with. All right, so real quickly, I've got a lot of tutorials where we switch and go to like outer line and we build the outside of this shape like that. It is handy for a lot of projects, but for this one, the whiskers would be goofy and it's just not that awesome. So I'm gonna go back to the default and then I'm gonna show you how I would simply trace this with Sketch. Two quick things to mention. Tinkercad added these lines to line things up the other day. Check out how cool this is. I know this shape is centered, so I'm going to hide it. I'm going to work with Sketch, and since these lines are here, it's even easier to drop it in the 20 by 20 grid and line that all up. Now, if I finish Sketch and we do Show All, the next time I edit this, we can easily trace it. So if you've never used Sketch before, I do want to remind you the Sketch Features button is right here. It has tons of great information that'll make you smarter and more efficient as a designer. You can check this out at any time and simply cancel this when you're done learning. It'll always be here if you want to check it out again. If you prefer my tutorials, I've got a playlist. You can check this bit.ly right here to track it down. Now let me show you how to draw with Sketch. First, pick a place to start. I'm going to start here from the middle because I'm only going to draw half of the outline of the cat. Naturally, it starts with straight lines. If you hit number 2, it switches to a Bezier curve. I'm going to take the snap down here, which is pretty handy, and I'm going to set it to off. And notice I'm going in the middle of this shape. I press number 2 for the Bezier curve, so I can click right here, hold, and twist to get a shape that's similar to the cat's head. Now you don't have to be perfect, we just have to be close because we're not using this cat's head, we're just going to make our own. If I hit number 1, it lets me start going back up in this direction. I'm only going to go a little bit, and then I'm going to press number 2 and do another Bezier curve. I can now come back down here, and once again, I'm going to just get this close, click, hold, and twist. And I'm going to do a sharp turn here by switching back to number 1, clicking, then number 2. I'm going to go halfway through the outside of this face. I'm not worried about the whiskers. I just want to create the outline, and then I'm going to go right down here to the end and click, hold, and twist. It's not perfect, but I'm going to let go, hit escape, and stop right there. Let's double click to modify this. Right now, this is a smooth curve. It would bend both at the same time. I'm going to switch this instead to number 3, which is a broken curve, and the same thing for this one, number 3, so that way they adjust independently. I'm getting it close to where I want it to be. I can adjust both like that. I'm also going to change my stroke width to 1.2. I think that's a nicer dimension for the outline when we print it. If I zoom back up here and double check, once again, this is also a smooth curve. If I hit number 3, it's a broken curve, and I can move them independently to get it where I want. See how that smooth one right there, they bend together? I can do Control Z, instead switch it to number 3. That way I can adjust this one to get it the way I want and do the same thing on the other side. But I'm going to call this good for my outline. Double click to finish it. Now I'm going to do Control C and Control Shift V. It pasted a copy exactly in place. I'm going to put my nudge back to 1, and I'm going to shift nudge to move it across. And now I want to mirror it. Take this dimension, switch it to negative, no matter what number it was, and bang, you have just got the 2 halves of your cat face. If we hit finish sketch, we have now got the little cat face that we can work with. I'm going to set the pink one to 2 millimeters. I'll set this one to 3 millimeters just so that we can still see that outline, and press enter. I'm also going to make it a fun color. I'm going to choose to make my cat a black cat, and I'm going to go with the blackest we can using the custom colors. So now we're going to make the back plate for this. Click on the outline we created and do Control D. Edit the sketch, click on one of the sides, and simply hit close path. Check it out. It drew that line for us. I'm going to switch to the other side, and I'm going to close that path as well. Now when we hit finish sketch, I can take that and set it to size 2 and press enter. And our design is starting to take shape. I'm going to click on the pink part, and I'm going to do Control up. And I'm going to raise it up 1 millimeter so you can see how all the features show up. Now you've got a couple options here. If you wanted to just use these features, check this out. I'm going to click on our black outline. I'm going to do Control D. I'm going to make it a hole, and I'm going to edit that sketch. So now when I click on these outline pieces, I can change their stroke width. I'm going to change this to 4, so it is quite a bit larger on both sides. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Stroke width, 4. And I'm really quickly just going to back out and show you why this is cool. Right now, if I click the pink and I shift click that fancy new hole, I can do Control G, and we've cut off that outline for our cute little keychain or whatever you're trying to build. Now you may notice the whiskers are still a problem. We're going to make the whiskers a different way. Let me show you how we fix this. I'm just going to double click to edit that shape. I'm going to click on my hole, and we're going to edit it. To get rid of the whiskers completely, I'm just going to hit P for pen, and I want to draw a shape that's going to cut those out. Super simple. If you make a bad move like I just did right there, just grab it when you're done and it's finished. I want to do the same thing on the other side, so I'm just going to do Control C and Control Shift V. Got my nudge set to 1, so I can just nudge this to the other side and use that very same flip trick. And press enter. Now, when I click Finish Sketch, notice the pink edit. When I click outside the edit, We have got a cat that's got cute little eyes and stuff and is going to print quick. I'm going to set these heights to both 2. All right, so here's how we're going to get our whiskers. I'm going to go back to this pink one and do Control D to duplicate. I am going to ungroup it, and we're going to use this cutting tool again. Simply double click to edit it. We can get rid of the whisker cutters, and we're just going to delete all these, and we're going to trace where these whiskers are. These steps are the same as when we trace the face. Once again, I'm using the Bezier curve to go around the ends, and then just making it as close as I can to the original whisker shape. The more you practice, the better you get, and even if it looks a little bit different, quite often, it makes your design look even a little bit more custom. Double click to finish. I'm going to grab all 3 of those and get my dimensions on. That dimension's one that matters. Now we can do Control C and Control Shift V. Get my nudge back to 1. Move it to the other side and make this number negative to flip it. Bang. Finish sketch. Now that we've got our whiskers made, we can delete this part. All right, I'm going to take this and I'm going to drop it all the way to the bottom. Let's do D to drop. And then we want to make it 3 high so it matches the rest of the parts. And instead of a hole, we're going to make it pink. So let's review super quick. Amy was hoping to make designs with layers so that they could print in multiple colors nice and quick. This is going to work that way because we're going to send it to Bambu Studio and use the print by layer height technique. If we check this, 2 millimeters high is all going to be the black. The other are all going to be the pink. If you wanted to have more layers, you would just take a separate item, like say you wanted to make the eyes a different color, and you'd make them 1.5. You would just separate these parts to build as many layers as you want. I'm going to stick with this so it's a quick print. I am going to really quickly turn this into a keychain by putting a hole back here. I'm going to simply bring out a cylinder. I'm going to shift stretch it, and the number I like to use is 5 millimeters. Now I can just grab this part, put it somewhere inside there, nudge it with my arrow keys till I'm happy. I'm going to set my nudge to 0.25. Let's do top view and fit fuse so we can zoom in a little better. Now I can do shift select and Control G to group. Bang, it is cut out. Now from this angle, I do see that we've got a little part here that's not the way we want. Let's quickly double click that and go into that hole, and we're going to just edit it. And all we need to do is click on either one of these sides and see this tiny gap. I'm going to set my nudge to off so it's as small as can be. I'm going to hit number 4 and I'm going to add an extra point because I don't really want this to stretch. And then of course you got to hit V to go back to build mode. And now I'm going to make that crossover just like that. When we hit finish sketch and I click outside to finish the edit, that is trimmed and now we're ready for 3D printing. Let me show you how this works. We're going to grab the entire keychain. We're going to choose export, STL. I'm going to call it cute cat. And I'm going to put Amy after it because that's who asked for it. Let's save the changes and let's bounce to Bambu Studio. Simply hit create new project. We are going to add the cute cat for Amy, and then let's do some awesome painting. When we hit the paint bucket, I want to switch to the paint by height range. I'm going to look at this from underneath. Notice I know it's 2 millimeters thick, so I already set this, so I'm going to just click right here, and when we spin back, we have got an awesome painted cat. Notice the whiskers are going to start gray, but they're going to end pink, and it's just going to look wicked cool. And it's going to print relatively fast. Let's check how long it's going to take. We're going to use 0.2 standard settings, slice the plate, and bang, under 21 minutes. How cool is that? Finally, print plate, and let's send it to the 3D printer. And a little more than 20 minutes later, we have got an adorable cat keychain. How cool is that? As I wrap up, of course, I want to say thanks to Amy for the question. Love this sort of projects. And I also want to emphasize you can use this for flexi keychains. normal keychains, fidgets, light boxes. Once you know how to make those outlines and then find ways to use your details, you can make fancy projects in very little time. It just takes a bit of effort to gain the skills. Of course, we also learned how we can edit in picsvg, which is really awesome. You can now make all sorts of projects with totally free tools. Of course, make sure you check the bit.lys above for several other awesome tutorials that this will link to. I do quickly want to say thank you to everybody that supports me via YouTube memberships. Don't forget there are 3 different levels of support starting as low as $5 a month. With any level of support, you get early access to videos. Make sure you also keep an eye out for those members only posts. A massive shout out as well to everybody that supports me via Patreon. We are past 400 members, and as you saw today, it's a great place to ask questions, gain skills, and share designs. You can learn more with the bit.ly up above or the link in the description. Finally, friends, I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget, every time you like, hype, share a video, add a comment down below, or click subscribe. You're helping HLModTech get just a little bit bigger, which absolutely makes my day. Friends, have a glorious day, and keep tinkering.